Hi guys, this is Tiny from Eliezer and I am going to take you through indices. All numbers of the form a to the power m are said to be expressed as indices, so we can write any number of the form a to the power m is said to be written as an index. Index is singular while indices is plural. In the expression a to the power m, a is the base while m is the power, logarithm, index or exponent. Now, 5 to the power 3 means 5 times 5 times 5, and notice there are 3 5s in multiplication. Therefore, 7 to the power 5 means 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, and notice here too that the 7s are 5 in multiplication. In general, a to the power m means a times a times a times a times a times so many terms until the arm in number. Next, let us look at the laws of indices, and we shall start with the fundamental law of indices, often called the law of multiplication, and it states that a to the power m times a to the power n is equal to a to the power m plus n. Let us try to understand what this law means. A to the power m means a times a times a times a times a times so many terms until the arm in number. A to the power n means a times a times a times a times a times so many terms until the arm in number. Therefore, a to the power m times a to the power n will equal to a times a times a times a times a times so many terms until the arm in number times a times a times a times a times a times so many terms until the arm in number. So in total we shall be having m plus n as in multiplication. Now that the as are m plus n, we shall write this as a to the power m plus n. In other words, the n's have combined together with the m's to make m plus n as in multiplication. I am going to repeat the same explanation using numbers and not letters. Consider 5 to the power 4 times 5 to the power 3. 5 to the power 4 is equal to 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and these are 4 5s in multiplication, while 5 to the power 3 is equal to 5 times 5 times 5, and these are 3 5s in multiplication. Therefore, 5 to the power 4 times 5 to the power 3 is equal to 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and these are 4 5s in multiplication, times 5 times 5 times 5, and these are 3 5s in multiplication. Therefore we have 4 5s together with 3 5s in multiplication, making a total of 7 5s. So we shall write 5 to the power 7 as the answer, because 5 to the power 7 means 7 5s in multiplication. So if we are asked to solve 5 to the power 4 times 5 to the power 3, we shall write as part of the solution 5 to the power 4 plus 3, which shall be equal to 5 to the power 7. Next, let us look at the second law, and it is the law of division, and it states that a to the power m divided by a to the power n is equal to a to the power m minus n. To understand this law, let us consider 5 to the power 6 divided by 5 to the power 4. This will be equal to 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and notice these are 6 5s in multiplication, divided by 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and notice these are 4 5s in multiplication. The 4 5s in the denominator will cancel with 4 5s in the numerator, leaving 2 5s in the numerator, so we shall further write on simplifying 5 times 5, and this is equal to 5 to the power 2. In brief, 4 5s have been removed from 6 5s, leaving 2 5s in multiplication. So if you are asked to work out 5 to the power 6 divided by 5 to the power 4, this will be 5 to the power 6 minus 4, which is 5 to the power 2. Now consider the case of 5 to the power 3 divided by 5 to the power 5. This shall be equal to 5 times 5 times 5, and these are 3 5s in multiplication. Divide by 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and these are 5 5s in multiplication. Now the 3 5s in the numerator will cancel with 3 5s in the denominator, leaving 2 5s in the denominator. So we shall write 1 over 5 times 5, which is equal to 1 over 5 to the power 2. Let us use the law we have just learned to evaluate 5 to the power 3. Divide by 5 to the power 5. 5 to the power 3 divide by 5 to the power 5 will be equal to 5 to the power 3 minus 5, which is equal to 5 to the power negative 2. For a moment we seem to have contradicted each other. One can claim that these two answers are not the same, but as we shall see later on, 5 to the power negative 2 is the same as 1 over 5 to the power 2. Next let us look at the third law of indices, and it states that a to the power m, the whole expression to the power n, is equal to a to the power m times n, which is equal to a to the power mn. To understand this law, consider 5 to the power 2 the whole expression to the power 3. This will be equal to 5 to the power 2 times 5 to the power 2 times 5 to the power 2, and notice the 5 to the power 2 are 3 in multiplication, and this shall be equal to 5 to the power 2 plus 2 plus 2, and this is from the fundamental law of indices, the one that deals with multiplication of indices. Now 3 2's are an addition, and this is the same as writing 2 times 3. So we shall write 5 to the power 2 times 3. It is not difficult to show following the same line of argument that a to the power p times m to the power q, the whole expression to the power n, is equal to a to the power pn times m to the power qn. In general, this expression is equal to this one. Next let us look at the fourth law, and it states a over b to the power n is equal to a to the power n over b to the power n. To understand what this law means, you need to understand the meaning of a over b to the power n. A over b to the power n is equal to a over b times a over b times a over b times a over b times so many terms, until the a over b are n in number. Now since the a over b are n in number, that means the a are also n in number and the b are also n in number. From elementary work on fractions we know that to multiply a group of fractions we can multiply their numerators first, get an answer, then multiply their denominators, get an answer, and divide the two answers we have got to get the final answer. So applying this, we get a times a times a times a times so many terms, until the a are n in number. Divide by b times b times b times b times so many terms, until the b are n in number. So this will further simplify to a to the power n over b to the power n. It is not difficult to show following the same line of argument that a times b divided by c times d, the whole expression to the power n, is equal to a to the power n times b to the power n over c to the power n times d to the power n. In general, this expression is equal to this one. So guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. I thank you for keeping up with me up to this far. In case you found this tutorial useful, you can subscribe to my channel for more video tutorials. Hope to catch up with you guys in the next tutorial. Once again, I am by the name's Tiny, and I am from Eliezer Online School, and I thank you so much for being such a great audience. Have a nice time.